It's always been an area of interest for me ever since I started debating in high school, and taking the first few classes here when I was undeclared sort of cemented the idea that it was the right program for me just based on the courses that I took and the skills that I learned in first year. Well, I guess I'll answer those in two different ways. 431, Contemporary Political Theory with Neil Hibbert was my favorite class, just because it was really informal. We read a chapter a week and then we would come and discuss really interesting topics. A sort of open-ended discussion where he was as much a participant as he was a professor, so we learned a lot from him. And then a professor that's inspired me is Professor Dee Nandin. I'll be researching with her in the summer, and just the work that she does and sort of the drive that she still has to produce publications and stuff like that, even when she's sort of at the top of her career, is inspiring to me. I definitely wish I was more involved in extracurricular things at the U of S, like getting involved with the ASSU or the political studies organization and stuff like that. I know that in my time it's almost like I was just in class and then chilling with my friends, but if I could come back, I'd get involved with those informal organizations. I'd talk to my professors more beforehand. I would definitely recommend it to them, but I would encourage them not to care necessarily about just trying to get 90s or 100 or something like that in their GPA, and focus more on the skills that they're learning, analytical thinking, the ability to write and stuff like that. And I would also really recommend them to engage with the professors early. I know it seems intimidating, like they don't really care about you, and this is coming from a person who didn't really engage with professors in the first 2 years, but in my final 2 years I've realized that they're actually there to help you and they provide you with a lot of life advice outside of just academics. I'd talk to Rousseau, probably. My interest is in political theory and sort of escaping the bubble that we've trapped ourselves in the 21st century, which I think is just neoliberalism and neoliberal ideologies. So if I could go back, I'd talk to Rousseau, not necessarily about his social contract, but earlier when he talks about the discourses on inequality, and he explains why inequality comes through in the modern world. He writes a lot of interesting things about how language is developed, about the nature of man and stuff like that, and I would just like to talk to him more, and ask him some interesting questions, hopefully get some good answers. Well, I think it's helped me develop a lot just because it's provided me with the skill set to analyze issues that were already important to me. So I'd always be watching the news and keeping up with what's going on, but I think that political studies and the skills that they teach you allow you to see the bigger picture, whereas you can be watching the news and still be very ignorant. But with a political studies degree, I think that you're much more predisposed to learning about the real issues properly and sort of seeing the bigger themes and pictures going on in the world news, and sort of analyzing things with a more critical approach rather than just believing what's told to you. And I think that that's really important in an age where it's sort of a dying skill.